What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Reezon It's coming at you live. Once again, we're here at another E3. It's Wednesday, June 17th, 2015. So, most of the festivities and most of the conferences and things like that are over, or the ones that I care about, anyways. The one that the majority of gamers care about. I initially, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I initially made a two-part rant video on the Nintendo digital event. Made this yesterday. Was gonna upload it, and I guess I thought more about it, and I basically had what one of my favorite journalists, Skip Bayless on ESPN, likes to call a "don't hit send" moment, where you just get it all out and just go crazy, and then just don't hit send because you're gonna look really bad. And I don't think I would have looked bad. I just think I would have looked a little hysterical because I was very angry. I'm not gonna lie, and I still am. But I'm more calm now and able to elaborate my thoughts in a more eloquent manner, and you guys will, see where I'm coming from. But I said, let me scratch that and let me do a combination video on the two companies that I care about. At least I did see bits and pieces of Microsoft conference, a combined maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Didn't really catch me. Microsoft never really gets me. So again, for people who watch my channel that are Microsoft fans, I apologize, but I am open. If they do something that gets me, I'm not gonna just hold back on some blind fanboyism and not, or some anti-Microsoft crusade and not give it a shot. I was willing to give the Xbox One a shot. If you remember my channel when it was revealed, I was very impressed with what they initially revealed. But the more I heard and the more that came out, I was like, oh, pump the brakes. It's not worth it. And turns out so far for me, it hasn't been. But anyways, I decided to make a combination video on Nintendo and Sony and what they did at E3. Last year, Sony was the absolute worst. Over 2-hour conference in length. Very little in the way of games. A lot of just gibberish and talk and sales numbers and just bore me to death stuff. While Nintendo dominated E3 last year, even in popular public opinion, which usually doesn't happen, all the masses agree Nintendo destroyed E3 last year. They walked out head and shoulders above everyone else with their presentation and what they had, to offer. This year, for me, sadly, the roles have completely reversed. It's the opposite. Sony, I think, had the best conference. Undeniable best conference in the show, with a hell of a lot of content and surprises and great games and just not only hype, which you need at E3, because it's the biggest show of them all, man. This is WrestleMania of games. This is the Super Bowl. This is the NBA Finals Game 7. You got to show up here with stuff that's going to generate hype, but also back up that hype. And this is one of the first times I can say that Sony actually did that. They brought hype, and it looks like the product can back up the hype. I know a lot of people are skeptical. There's certain aspects of it that I'm skeptical about because it is Sony we're talking about. And Sony and Microsoft have a history of lying to our face at E3. So I am as optimistic as I am about what they showed. I am pumping the brakes a little bit, but I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt simply because I don't depend on Sony for my gaming fix. So if they lie to me again, I'm going to see it and I'm not going to care. Where I do care is when the number one company under my eyes, Nintendo, completely not even drops the ball. Basically, it's like the quarterback gives you the ball and you grab the ball and you're like, fuck this shit, I don't want to run today. And you just throw the ball on the floor. It's not even an accidental fumble. It's just like fuck this. That's basically what Nintendo did at this year's E3. Their digital event was horrendous. It was horrible. Now, I'm going to calm down and not be like I was on the last video that I didn't, the one I told you about that I didn't send or I didn't upload. But I am going to be passionate because this is it's alarming for me, and it's not what I want to see the greatness that is Nintendo looking like. So I'm just going to go through a quick list of games, both from Nintendo, only for the Wii U. I'm going to stress that because I'm sick to death, and I'm sorry. Again, I've said this before, but now damn it, I'm tired. I'm tired of the 3DS, okay? Enough. The damn thing has won over everything. It doesn't need any more help. It doesn't need any more attention. It could literally sell 10 copies a month for the rest of its life cycle, and PS4 and Xbox One and Wii U combined will probably never catch it. It is that dominant, all right? So let's just, enough with the 3DS. Me personally, I'm going to disregard the 3DS from this point on. It doesn't exist to me. I'm not going to cover it. I'm not going to talk because I'm sick to death of it taking the spotlight from where Nintendo needs to have their focus, which is their home console. So that's just my 2 cents on that. But only Wii U and PS4 games. Just this was off the top of my head. I compiled the list. There's a lot more for PS4, and there's maybe a couple more for Wii U, but whatever. For the Wii U side, we had Mario Maker, we had Star Fox Zero, we had Yokai Watch, which was Next Level Games' game that they were working on. Skylanders Supercharged, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Devil's Third, and Fatal Frame, which weren't even I'm gonna get to that. Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, Animal Crossing Amiibo Fest, and Fast Racing Neo, which also, like Devil's Third and Fatal Frame, wasn't shown at the digital event, which was just stupid. And then PS4, we had Horizon Zero Dawn. I'll talk about that game. Hitman, Black Ops 3, Ratchet and Clank, Uncharted, The Last Guardian, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Shenmue 3 Kickstarter announcement. I'll talk about that as well. Dreams, and No Man's Sky. That's just a quick list. There's a lot more, but, you know. What do I think about... I'll just go into Sony's conference first. Sony's conference was unbelievable. Okay, it was only about an hour and change long, if I recall. I sat there and watched the whole thing from beginning to end. Was never bored. Was never, like, underwhelmed. From the very jump where they just showed The Last Guardian trailer. I'm not a fan of The Last Guardian. I didn't even know what it was until, you know, the last couple of months where everybody kept making the joke about it being vaporware. And I was like, oh, this must have been a game that was highly anticipated, everybody was waiting for, and they just went years and years without even releasing any information on it, and people were assuming it's canceled. Well, they hit right out the gates with that surprise. Boom. The trailer was beautiful. The graphics were unbelievable. I like the gameplay. I like the way it looks. Just the way that it's not just climbing and scaling. It's just all the different things you can do when you're playing as that little kid character, and this awesome looking dog / dragon creature that's with you. And, you know, the way that you could jump, and if you don't make it, it grabs you by the neck and picks you up, or, you know, whips a sail around and you land on its tail and you climb up its body, and you're basically helping each other to get, past the obstacles. There's a part where the creature was falling off the wall and it couldn't get a grasp, and the little dude basically moved this log in the way for it to grab on and be able to, jump up. Very amazing, very great trailer, very atmospheric, beautiful graphics, great gameplay. And again, it was gameplay, so that's what I need to see from Sony, because that's what they usually don't show. So I was very impressed with that. Then they went on. I'm not gonna go in any order, but they showed a Hitman trailer. I'm not a big Hitman fan, so I didn't care. But the game does look nice. Looks very polished. Looks like your classic Hitman game, just maybe more expensive. They showed No Man's Sky, which is my most anticipated game for the PS4. Has been since they revealed it last E3. This time, the developer got on stage, and he literally showed you just how expansive that universe that they created is. I almost don't believe him, because it's like he was even saying, okay, we're going to visit a random planet. I've never seen this planet before, and many of the planets or universes in this game or solar systems will never be visited. How can you make something that massive? You know what I'm saying? So I'm loving this. And then he showed off the gameplay. You can get in the ship, take off, enter into a space battle, just at random, whenever you want. Get out of there. Pick any sun or any solar system. Warp there. Go straight down through the atmosphere. Land on the planet. Get off. Document wildlife. Upload discoveries. There's actual sentinels on the planet. So there is an element of survival, first-person shooting. There's a whole mix of stuff in here. This is not just a glorified walking simulator like people like to say. This is a huge exploratory game that combines elements of space combat, first-person shooting, and just Metroid-style exploration. Sign me up. I was blown away. I loved it. Then they show Ratchet and Clank. I don't believe they showed at the conference itself, but we know footage was released days before E3, so it looked amazing. I can't wait for Ratchet and Clank. I love games like that, man. 3D action platformers. Uncharted was the very last game they showed. Uncharted Thief's End. Bro, that looked beautiful. Straight up gameplay, so I was happy to see that. They fucked it up, though, because when they started it, it was like they came through this door, and Sully's like, all right, Drake, let's go. Or Nathan, let's go. And he starts running, and the guy who's playing as Drake is just standing there. And it's like they had technical difficulties. Basically, then it started over, the same exact sequence. He's like, all right, let's go. And all of a sudden, the guy was able to run. So they fucked up a little bit there. But the environment's completely destructible, completely interactive, beautiful to look at, looks real. The draw distance is crazy, and they just did this crazy chase scene where they were just going downhill in this village on some island there, just rampaging through the streets, going downhill while they were getting chased by this truck with a cannon on it, just shooting at them. It was awesome, dude. That looks very good. What else? Final Fantasy VII Remake, they announced that, showed it. It looks, looks good. Everybody was going crazy. I've never been a Final Fantasy VII fan. I've never been a Final Fantasy fan, period, even when it was on Super Nintendo, so I don't care. But a lot of people went crazy, and that's what you need at E3. This announcement was awesome. They had the developer and the creator of Shenmue on Dreamcast, Shenmue 1 and 2, come on stage. And he talked about how everybody over the years has wanted a Shenmue 3. And he's tried to get it done, but nobody wants to fund it, and nobody wants to get it, whatever. He basically said, I'm leaving it in your hands, to the people, basically. And I'm putting Shenmue 3 on Kickstarter. Please fund and support, and let's get the Shenmue that you guys have always wanted created. I thought that was awesome. Now, I personally don't like Kickstarter. and I don't do Kickstarter. But for the people who do and want this game, that was a humongous announcement. And Sony is smart. You know, I heard people, you know, Red Knight's one of them. I watched this video yesterday. He said that this was a shady move. Yes and no. It was shady because, yeah, you are Sony. You could just be like, hey, I'm going to fund the game. Like Nintendo did with Bayonetta and like they're doing with Devil's Third. But you don't have to. Because if you give them the time of day and put them in your stage, you're the #1 selling console with all the hype on your conference, and this game does get made, they're going to feel an instant debt of gratitude to you and may even make it exclusive to your system. Or make it come to your system first or whatever. It'll be on PlayStation, guaranteed, basically, if it gets made. So I don't see it as that shady. It is kind of shady, but I see it more as business, man. Yo, I don't need to pay you for this. I don't need to pay for this game. I'm going to let all these suckers out here pay for it because I'm not trying to waste any money of mine. And when they pay for it, you put it on our system, and then they can get what they paid for. Perfect, man. So anyways, then they had this game called Dreams. I wasn't really into that. It was like this basically like a creation tool where you could just create any scene or any character or whatever, and it's like dreams basically, and you get to see all the other people's uploaded dreams or whatever. And they didn't really like it. So that was basically it. But the fact is that Sony came out with game after game after game after game and didn't bullshit with statistics and sales and all that. They mentioned features that they were doing. They mentioned a little bit about Morpheus, which was really cool, and then they just focused on games, and they knocked it the fuck out of the park, man. It was awesome. Black Ops 3, when they showed that. And it's going to be basically better on PS4 with everything that they're getting first and, you know, all the exclusivity and all that. First time ever that Call of Duty has a 4-player multiplayer campaign. That's awesome. The game looks stunning. I'm all in, man. Sony knocked it out the park. Going on to Nintendo. And this will be a 2-part video because I only got like maybe 4 minutes left. You know what? I'm just going to cut it right here. Part 2 will be my Nintendo video. This will be the Sony video. Part 2 will be the Nintendo video. God bless y'all and stay gaming. Peace.